Hi, I'm Rachel Bailey, and this is another episode of 2 Tips in 3 Minutes, where I'm going to give you effective, if not intuitive, strategies for handling frustrating behavior in a respectful way. So, I work with parents of children ages 2 to 20, and one thing that a lot of parents have in common, no matter how old the child is frustration when children speak disrespectfully to us. When that happens, perhaps you're asking your child, if it's a younger child, to clean their toys, or if you might be asking an older child to clean their room. And your younger child might say something like, "No, you don't get to tell me what to do." Or the older child might just say, "No, I'm not cleaning my room." Immediately when that happens, we may feel a lot of things. We may feel frustration, we may feel anger, we may even feel worried about how our child deals with authority figures. And we might say something like, "Oh, I can tell you what to do. You can't talk to me like that. Go sit in a timeout." Or, "I won't take you to your friend's house until you speak to me more respectfully." But the reality is that probably doesn't work. And here's why. Tip number one is you actually can't force your children to be respectful to you. Why? Well, think about it. When was some time that you've either spoken disrespectfully to someone or even had a disrespectful thought about someone? The reality is disrespect comes from somewhere, and it's usually from strong negative feelings that we have inside. And strong negative feelings aren't going to go away because of punishment. So what will work? That's going to be tip number two. But before I get there, I want you to think about something. We want our children to be respectful to us. And what type of person actually commands respect? Is it someone who's a pushover? Is it someone who doesn't really listen to the opinions of the people around them? No, it's someone who actually speaks to people in a way that is both firm and kind. So tip number two is, if you want your child to speak to you respectfully, you have to state your expectations in a way that is both firm and kind. It's interesting that most people remember the firm part and don't have a problem with that, but they forget about the kind part. But it's really important to remember that part, because think about what you're asking your child to do. You're asking your child to speak respectfully to you even when they're really frustrated. Are you able to model that back? You need to show your child what it looks like to be able to be respectful even when you're feeling really frustrated inside. So you could say something to your child like, "Okay, you don't want to clean up your toys, or you don't want to clean up your room. Well, I'd like to hear about that and we can talk more about it, but I can't have that conversation until you're speaking to me a little bit more respectfully." The reality is, when we set our boundaries firmly but also kindly, children are much more likely to treat us respectfully. So those are 2 tips for how to respond to your child in the moment when they are speaking disrespectfully to you. Please look below the video and fill out the worksheet that applies these tips to your particular situation. And if you're interested, contact me and I will answer your question in an upcoming episode of 2 Tips in 3 Minutes. And as always, if you enjoy the content, please share with others. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.